Nexxlegacy.
Hello, my queen.
Hi.
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm great. I'm
Good.
great.
I'm so good.
Well, if you're so good, you're about to get a whole lot better because we do have our lovely guest on the line, and I gotta say, as I get ready to put her on, she's been a hero of mine when it comes to her craft and what she does. I have a high level of respect for this woman. She's done so much, not just playing the role on Young and the Restless as Dr. Olivia Barber Winters on The Young and the Restless, like I said, but she's done so much for others, including myself, as far as an inspiration and motivation, and I want to welcome Miss Tonya Lee Williams to Branded After Dark.
Hey,
hello.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi there.
Wow, this is such a pleasure. I have watched you since Young and the Restless since I was 3 years old, and I'm 35 now.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic.
This is just amazing to me, and thank you so much for calling in.
Oh, my pleasure.
Tonya, how's things going? How are you doing? Things are good?
Things are actually pretty good.
Wonderful.
I'm in LA. Thank goodness I'm not out. I'm feeling for the people out on the East Coast who've gone through this crazy weather.
Yeah, Hurricane Sandy just really shook up a lot of people, and I'm glad you mentioned that too.
And they're still in recovery, so our prayers go out to all of them.
Absolutely. Well, there's, like I said to start the show, there's so many people, not just in the States, but, with us being online, there's so many worldwide callers from China and Australia, Germany, Amsterdam, a couple of emails that I got from there tonight as we went live, and they're big Tonya Lee Williams fans. So, of course, like I said, about the work that you've done with Young and the Restless, I want to start with that. With the work that you've done there and the legacy that you've built as far as just your craft in general, like, can you let the listeners know just the day-to-day grind that it takes to, be able to continue that not just the role that you play, but just the work ethic you have to be able to achieve the kind of success you had on Young and the Restless?
Well, I think what's great, and when you talk about work ethic, it was big in my family. I think that just, even before you start a job, I think it's great when parents instill that in their kids from when they're young, so that you just sort of carry that with you, and no matter what work you do. And Young and the Restless, though, the level of professionalism on that show, it just makes everyone sort of, rise to the mark.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that a lot of people out there, especially in the acting field now, do you think that a lot of people, when they start doing certain things, they can look at, just probably the role that you play, and they can probably say, you know what, I can do that role, or I can be on the show and actually, continue to, keep the train rolling, so to speak. But, the reason why I asked you the question about just what other people's perception about that is because I see the work that you've done and all the other actors and actresses is it's a grind. You guys work 7 days on some occasions, right? Or you guys are on call in certain cases.
Yeah,
right?
Actors definitely work hard, but it takes more than actors to put a show on, and to tell you the truth, crews work incredibly hard. Now, the show's on every single day, but you don't see the actors, all the actors on every single day. Sometimes I'm not on the show right now, even for months, but that crew is there every single day. They're there from the beginning right to the end every single day, and I think it allows us as actors to work as hard as we work because we see how everybody else is working as hard as they work. And when you're, especially the storyline on Y&R, it's been so positive within the black community and the black characters that they've developed on the show. So it's really been a privilege to be a part of something like that that's had such an impact, and you're right, not only in America but just around the world. To play these characters in such supportive ways. I'm one of those people. I still love working on the show. I actually wish they'd write more for Olivia. There have been so many changes with writers over the last few years, though. I feel that poor Olivia has just gotten less and less support.
Right. When I see you, I mean, you are like such a positive and friendly face. When there's so much drama going on, I'm like, all right, things are going to get real now because Olivia's there, and she's support. And, let me ask you this. This is kind of crazy, but do you think that they will ever write Drew back in?
We ask these questions all the time about ourselves and about other characters on the show. I guess I'm just old school. I would love to see not only Drusilla back, I'd love to see Aunt Mamie back. I would love to see, there's just, I still live in this world of those characters where they're just magical,
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, fun for me, fun for other people to watch, fun for me to work with all those people and to see the great storylines that were there. And it doesn't take away from any of the great black actors that are on the show now. But but when I think of the best of Y&R, I always think of it was Malcolm, it was Olivia, it was Neil, it was Drew. So those I would love to see them bring the character little Nate back. Just sort of rebuild the original storyline. But I don't see much. I really haven't seen much support for that from the show's perspective. I hear it from the fans all the time. So, it just depends how hard the fans fight for it is what's going to make the changes or not.
Yeah, because I want to see Olivia back with Neil. I'm sorry. But
I thought the best together. And the best stories, honestly, were Olivia and Drew together. I mean, we just played off each other so well, and they wrote so well for us.
Did you guys ever, are you ever allowed to ad-lib? Because you guys are in, like, I feel like you guys are so good and drown yourself into that character that sometimes, you feel like Olivia should say this instead of really what's written. Do you ever feel like that? And
I definitely feel like there are things Olivia... Yeah, I definitely feel that there's things Olivia should say that aren't written, but I don't say them because it's just really not the way it works. We're really on script, and we really say everything that's written for us to say. And there are times I may say, I don't think Olivia would say this, but it's completely up to the director and the writer and the producers whether I get to say that or not. It's not my choice as to let me just change this the way I feel it should be. No, it doesn't really work that way.
You mentioned something that was pretty crucial as far as just the nostalgic feeling, as far as some of the, just the way that it was back in the day. And I grew up in the household as well. Looking at it with my mom when the days that I was home from school or whatever, or it was just there. So as a fan, you look at it, you get caught up in different storylines and just the way things were. So my thing is, especially now compared to how it was back in the day when you first started, what are some of the things that you see, not just the demand as far as soaps, because we've seen 2 soaps on ABC shut down over a year or so. How do you feel about just the dynamic of and the evolution of the actor or actress in soap operas now in 2012?
Well, I think that most of the soap operas are really vying for the young market. So I think a lot of the storylines are very different because they're looking for younger actors, and they're really trying to sort of catch and keep interested a much younger audience than I would say it was even 20 years ago. And I think that's the demise of actually a lot of the soap operas, because I think even the younger audience still wants to see the characters that they sat on their parents' knees and watched.
Absolutely.
I think they actually respond to those characters the strongest. But
wow, yep.
But when you and I have a soap, we can figure that.
Yeah,
right
no
now, right now it's not our show. So
exactly.
We don't get much say.
I hope Y&R lasts forever, because I'm telling you, you are hitting it right on the head for me. Like, I don't really care about the younger crowd. I want to see, you. I want to see Victor. I want to see Nikki. When I was little, I looked at them through my eyes. Those I pictured them as my parents. You know what I mean? Like, I just...
That's fantastic, though, when you hear something like that. But, you know, what we sometimes forget is the fans are really diehards, and they watch the show, and they absolutely love and, you know, adore different things about the show. And the actors are there and involved. But a lot of times when you're talking about studio execs and executive producers, they're not as connected sometimes to the fans and to the stories in the same way. I mean, but what helps is, I mean, people say it all the time, but they don't understand the impact it has for fans to write in and talk about what they really want, because a lot of times studio people and execs in charge, they look at that mail, and that's how they're guiding the story. Because I talk to people all the time who tell me the things they'd love to see on the story, but I go, but do you write it? And they're like, no. And I go, well, they don't know. You're at home watching it, probably yelling at the screen, why don't they do this, why don't they do that? But they can't hear you. So once they get an idea, if people are passionate about a story that they want to see, the best way is to write it in and try and ask for that.
You know, the one true thing that I get, and I know it's driven towards the younger crowd nowadays, but growing up and knowing that, not just Y&R, but like I said earlier, the other shows that shut down, All My Children's and One Life to Live, that's a rich history. So
that
to me, it's
rich
like
history,
agreed. And the younger crowd should be able to embrace that history, and there should be some kind of fusion between the historic aspect of what it stands for versus just, you know, okay, let's just scrap everything and just go with the young movement. I don't really get it, especially the way that things are nowadays. And we actually had Eric Braden on, I would probably say a couple of weeks ago, and
cool.
I know he was a real stickler, and he wasn't really too fond of reality shows in general, because it does take a lot away from the actual actors that do this kind of thing as far as on TV and things like. But what's your opinion about that?
Well, I honestly feel different about it. I mean, there was a day. I mean, we don't remember it because we're all of us, including myself, are too young. But when soaps first started, that was the equivalent of what we're talking about with reality TV right now. So you have to remember that there were people back in the day that didn't understand why these daytime soap operas were on and bringing down the quality of, you know, whatever, you know, television or film had been to that point. So I never want to be a hater about things like that. There's definitely a place for reality shows. I think when we think reality shows, we always want to think the worst of them. But I mean, Jamie Oliver's Fast Food Nation is a fantastic reality show. And has done a lot to change the eating habits of people in America. So there are reality shows that have really improved, I think, the quality of people's lives and made things. And then there's awful, you know, reality shows too.
Amen to that.
It's all in. It's really it's sort of not throwing out, as they say, the baby in the bathwater. There's a place for reality shows. In fact, I wish they didn't call the word reality shows. It's got such a bad name. A lot of reality shows could almost be mini documentaries, because that's really what they are. A documentary is really about real life and people doing real things, and that's what a lot of the reality shows are about.
And Tonya, I always say call it improv, because that's really what it is. At the end of the day, that's just what it is. It's just and you're doing improv. I mean, you know, it's even though some people tell you what to do, but the rest you kind of wing it, and then you kind of go and do what you do, and that's improvisation.
But I do think some of it is positive. I'm one of those people. I'm fascinated by any of the shows where people are losing weight. I'm always in awe. Someone starts out at 500 pounds and manages to lose 300 pounds. Or I mean, those are positive things. I really think.
What do you feel about the reality shows that it's almost like Jersey Shore and things like that? Like, you know, they highlight, you know, getting drunk, getting in fights, beating each other up. You know, it's constant, like, you know, unnecessary drama.
Well, we don't even have to point at reality shows, because I think there are films and drama shows that, you know, sort of really focus on young people going down the wrong road. So the fact that there is a reality show about it is just a sort of a continuation of something that's already been there. And I really think that's where, I mean, you're never going to stop those stories being told, but it's important for parents to be really aware of what their children are watching. I know that a lot of
That's
times
right.
people are just allow their kids to just sit in front of the TV, and there's a lot there that's appropriate or not appropriate. There are even parents actually that come up to me as fans, and they have their 6-year-old, and they go, "Oh, I have them watching daytime soap opera." Even I'll say, "I don't think that's appropriate for a 6-year-old
Right.
to watch even our show." So it's so so there's
Well, I'm saying I've been watching it since I was 3, and that made me a better person. I love Young and the Restless. Young and the Restless means everything to me as far as, like, I'm serious. Like, I hope it never goes, Young and the Restless stays for another, 30 years. I really do.
Well, I
Because,
hope it does. But as I said
I'm
to someone,
hardcore.
I said someone recently, even when these soaps go under, it doesn't diminish the impact that they've had. To know that, I mean, what other shows on
Right.
TV have been on for, some of them have been on for 50, 55, 60 years.
Right.
And everything does come to an end at some point, right? I mean, it just does. It's just,
Yeah,
just
it
the way,
does.
the circle
It
of
does.
life.
But what's important
yeah.
is no one can never take away the legacy that was created by
Absolutely not.
the hard
Right.
work of everyone involved. And it's just like your character, Olivia, will no one will never tarnish that legacy that you created. That was your character, your baby. So
Oh,
that's
great.
something you.
Are there
That's great.
ever such diehard fans that really like treat you like Olivia and like would tell you like talk to you like you were really her and that was really your life?
Oh, absolutely.
Have you ever
In fact,
had that?
Oh, a lot of times, and a lot of times reporters will ask an actor or ask me this question.
Oh my goodness.
Do you find that you find it difficult to differentiate between Olivia and yourself? And I'll say
Right.
I don't find it difficult. Olivia's a character, and Tonya is I know who I am, but I
Right.
find it hard
Right.
for fans to differentiate between the two.
Yes. Yes.
No, they definitely see me as Olivia first. They don't see me as Tonya.
Right.
Olivia, who
Do
I
they
am.
ever
And
come up and say, "Are you really in love with Neil?"
oh,
How do you
absolutely,
really feel about it?
absolutely. Or how's my son Nate? And in their minds, I mean, I know on some of them they're actually joking, but even within the joke, I know that, well, if that's what they've been seeing for 20 some odd years, that's how they relate to me. So, I mean, that totally
Right.
makes sense.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm sure I do it with even characters on TV. I can't imagine that they're not even similar to the character I'm watching
Right.
on TV.
Right.
Tonya Lee Williams is our guest from Branded After Dark, and you actually have your website, right? TonyaLeeWilliams.com, where people can go check out as well, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Go and see what I'm up to. It was a great summer for me. I did a Lifetime movie that's going to be coming out with Rob Lowe
Oh,
called
wow.
Imperfect Justice. And I did a very cool movie called Cybergeddon that was the first movie that Yahoo did. So you can actually find that movie on Yahoo. And I just finished a small independent film called Empire of Dirt that's supposed to be doing the festival circuits next year. So it's been a good summer.
This Real World Film Festival that's going on, it's in April of next year, right?
Yeah, I founded the festival. This is the 13th year of it. It's in Toronto, Canada. The festival focuses on diversity. So all the films are from the Aboriginal, Asian, Black, Latino, Middle Eastern, and South Asian communities. And it's been a baby of mine for the past 13 years, and I'm very excited. And next year, it's the 10th to the 14th. And, we look for people who either that are in Toronto to come on out and support, and for people around the world to go on the website and check out we don't have programming up right now since it doesn't happen until April, but starting from around the beginning of March, you'll get to see what movies are at Real World next year.
So is there workshops involved, different types of things that people can actually learn from with this festival, or?
Yeah, we not only screen movies, but we do industry panels. It's always great. They're just different panels from information about screenwriting to directing to producing. We always have great industry professionals as our panelists. And, what's great, now that the festival has been around for 13 years, I get to now see people who came to the festival in year 1 or 2 who knew nothing, and it's great now to see them sitting on panels, and they have movies they've made, and that's the one thing about getting older, is that you actually can see growth in a really in a positive way. So that's the thing that gets me passionate still about the festival.
That's very, very good, very good. So
The
all
next
the
generation.
information is going to be on TonyaLeeWilliams.com. People can be able to get updates and things like that, right?
Yeah, people can get updates on me there, but Real World it's www.realworld.ca, REEL, Real World. So all the information about the festival is there.
How are you doing with social media nowadays? Facebooks
Well,
and
you know what?
Twitters and things like
I
that.
finally moved into 21st century and have I have a Facebook.
My
I just recently did that, so if people go to the website, they'll be able to click onto the Facebook
All right
page.
now.
But I find it very challenging.
That's what's up. Well, I'll add myself.
You know what's always been hard for me is when I wanted to become an actor, and this is way back in the late 70s. Everything about being an actor was losing yourself and becoming character, and and everything is so opposite now. It's like everything about an actor is only putting yourself out there, and the character does not seem to be relevant anymore. So it's a real. I think it's a real challenge for actors like myself who, when we started in the business, it was completely the opposite.
Right.
Yeah, but that's what makes it so good. I mean, that's why, you know, to me, the show has run as long as it does, because I feel like all of you guys, you know, really, truly drowned yourself in the character, and that's what we want to see.
Yeah, that's the fun part. The fun part for me.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, the fun part for me is taking on a character. I consider myself incredibly dull when I'm not in character. The kind of things I enjoy doing are completely like dull and boring to other people. But when I'm in character is when I get to pretend and be and create complete fanciful characters that are just interesting.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, I always see an actress such as yourself. I mean, being with a wealth of knowledge. When you say dull and boring, I might say hot and sexy. So that might be the words. But you know, to me, I always see it as, you know, you're a genius in the making, because I always see the art form of acting as just that, an art. And, you know, most people should appreciate it for the art form that it is, because people paint a different picture. Your art form's different than you know, a lot of different actors that's out there or have played the role or was a part of Y&R. So it's, you know, it's always good to see a different take on it, a breath of fresh air, and it's nice to always be able to see you create something that you can say, you know what, this is what I built, and this is a very good legacy that I have right now.
I have a question. We were doing a meeting last night, and one of our staff members wanted to ask, how do you feel about the black actors getting scripts that always seem to stereotype? You know, thug, you're a preacher, you know what I'm saying? You always have to be dealing with drugs and like the negativity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
for black actors.
I think it's very challenging for actors, because at the end of the day, you need to not just want to, you need to work, you need to pay your bills. It's still a job at the end of the day, and you're not in a position, you're not in the power position. And when I say power position, you're not writing the roles, and you're not, you know, you're not producing these shows. And I think that's why a lot of people do get into producing and writing, so they can try and change those stereotypes. One of the reasons I did my film festival was to encourage young people to change those stereotypes. But until they're, you know, we've changed them, you see some changes happening, which is really encouraging. I mean, I've been in the business now a little over 35 years, so, you know, even though it might seem not, that not much change has happened, if you were around 35 years ago starting in the business, you've seen a lot happen. And I'm sure if you talk to actors who've been in the business 50 years, they'll talk about the only roles they could get is the role of a servant. And now you can actually see people being doctors and CIA agents and, professors, and these roles didn't exist. So there's always room for growth, and there will be more changes going forward. But another part of it is going to be the actor. Sometimes it's always lofty to say that, but to live it. But I really believe it's important for actors to have their parameters, that there may be roles that they turn down, that they don't support or go after. And it's different for everybody. There's not like one set of rules and then everyone just find what's. I have my own parameters of what I think is important and what I do and don't want to do, but I don't make it a judgment for other people. But everyone should really have your own sense of integrity about what it is you want to say as an actor and what is the message you want to pass on.
Tonya Lee Williams, our guest on Branded After Dark, and before we let you go, I had someone on an email saying, "Okay, you got Facebook now. What about Twitter? Are you gonna
exactly? I want to be your first follow."
Exactly. Maybe in the next century. I'll work on that one.
You can go check out TonyaLeeWilliams.com for all the information you need. I want to not just thank you for hanging out with us on Branded After Dark, but thank you for the years that you've actually inspired us, because I'm with Aaron and so many other people out there when I say that you've touched us by not just your hard work and your work ethic, but also you building a legacy. To me, I think you are a definition of that. So I want to thank you for inspiring us to be able to do all things that is positive, because you've shown us that. So trust me, it's not just this man here, but there's other people out there that feel the same way.
It's lovely to get such high praise for doing something that I've loved to do for so long.
Well, I'd like to say that it is. You have no idea what this means to me. This is such an honor to me to talk to you, because I've grown up with you. You know what I mean? And it's so awesome, and thank you so much. You've really enlightened and made this interview just wonderful. And I thank you so much, and I love you so much.
I love you too.
And you stay so beautiful. Keep doing what you do, because you are gorgeous inside and out. So
excellent.
You always make me smile when you come in. It's like a friendly, space that I love it when I see you.
That's really lovely to hear.
Tonya, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
TonyaLeeWilliams.com. You can be able to check her out, website and all. Facebook, go ahead and search her. Support this young lady and everything that she does. And if you're out there for the 13th annual Real World Film Festival that's going down April 10th to the 14th of next year, be a part of it. And it is very, very good that we are...
Nexxlegacy.